Well, longtime GOP strategist Rick Wilson is familiar with the rigors of the campaign trail, having served as field director of President George Bush's 1988 presidential campaign. He's the co-founder of the Lincoln Project, a Republican political action committee that opposes Trump. Rick, welcome back to Morning Rush. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get right to it.
Good morning.
Good morning. Before Trump made it to Davenport yesterday, his attacks on Florida Governor Ron DeSantis began basically right before getting on the plane, saying, quote, he was dead as a dog. He was a dead politician. He would have been working perhaps for a law firm or doing something else. Then once he got to Iowa, he attacked DeSantis's record. Let's listen real quick.
They do something politically, but he was very, very bad on ethanol. He fought it all the way, and he also fought against Social Security. He wanted to decimate it and voted against it 3 times.
Meantime, though, DeSantis has barely mentioned Trump by name. As a strategist, Rick, how sound is DeSantis' plan, and how would you rate Trump's strategy so far?
Well, I think Ron DeSantis has been riding this bubble that has been created for him by the donor class of the Republican Party, the hedge fund guys and the major Wall Street players who have told him, we need anybody but Trump. We're going to support you to the very end. And no matter what you do, we will never abandon you, Ron. We love you. And he's been supported by National Review, sort of the gentry conservative remnant inside the GOP. And the problem with that is that the Republican base, what you saw Donald Trump doing yesterday, is what the Republican base wants. They want the show. They want the Donald Trump effect. And the question really for a lot of MAGA voters is why go for Diet Trump? Why go for the lesser of two evils when you could have the big evil? You've got a guy who behaves the way they want all the time. You've got a guy who has that transgressive star power that Trump continues to display even now. And you also saw a different side of Donald Trump, I think, in the last couple of weeks. He's got a much more disciplined campaign team at the top of his organization. That those campaign notes he's dropping there on ethanol, on Social Security, those are things that resonate with Iowa voters. So I'm not one to praise Donald Trump, but he's not, Ron DeSantis is not going to have an easy climb against this guy going forward.
And Rick, just really quickly as a follow-up to that, do you think, I know that you're mentioning Trump supporters, that they love to hear all of this very specifically, that he's playing right to the base, but is he gaining any new supporters, or are those that were a little bit on the fence, are they going to be gravitating more towards DeSantis?
Look, it doesn't matter. The Republican Party is incredibly hierarchical. The Republican Party follows the leader. They break like herd animals. I've seen this, and every other Republican consultant in the before times has seen this, where once they decide they're going to pick, a direction, they stay there. It's very sticky. And Donald Trump doesn't have to retain every single supporter. He's dropped from having support with the Republicans in the 90s to having support with Republicans in the high 70s. This is a guy who still comes into this with a lot of advantages against Ron DeSantis, not the least of which is that Ron DeSantis is an untested political figure. He has never had a hard race in his life. Florida is a deep, deep red state. He's always running in easy seats and against weak opponents. Donald Trump is not a weak opponent. He will go after Ron DeSantis in ways that are going to be very difficult for him, I think, to overcome.
Let's talk about one issue that has emerged as a big one for Republicans, and that's the issue of education. Donald Trump even laying out some provisions of his policy, coming just weeks after, of course, we heard DeSantis unveiling a new bill reforming education in Florida. Why is this such a top issue for Republican candidates right now?
It's a top issue for Republican candidates right now because it is the current iteration of the culture war. And that is the area where Republicans feel the most comfortable now because they are a post-ideological party. They don't really believe in the things they once said they believed in. Limited government, rule of law, the Constitution, individual responsibility. All those things are sort of the old school of Republicanism. And today's Republicanism is owning the libs and fighting these social battles. And education has become a signifier for the social warfare that they want to wage, which is to say that they don't want anything confrontational in their children's lives by their definition. I mean, Ron DeSantis in Florida has passed a law that is allowing local school districts to ban books about Rosa Parks and about Hank Aaron. This isn't a battle about parents' rights or responsibilities or or education reform. This is a battle to narrow the scope of the intellectual discourse in this country. And frankly, they're being successful at it so far because they have convinced parents that anything that is an idea that isn't, perfectly normative to them represents some sort of imminent collapse or danger to their children, as opposed to broadening their intellectual horizons.
Yeah, it seems to be resonating with a lot of Republican people in Florida and elsewhere.
It is, again, the culture war is the favorite area for Republicans to go. And this is the latest iteration of the culture war. This is the latest, sort of hot area of the culture war. We did a poll a few weeks ago at the Lincoln Project. None of these Republicans could define CRT. They just said, it's scary, I don't like it. They don't understand what it is, but they're very good at following along. Again, there's a hierarchical sort of media and political structure of the Republican Party that says, today's talking point is education. We're going to talk about critical race theory. We're going to talk about, drag queen story hour. These things that are marginal, small things on the very, very fringe of the actual educational experience in America, they're portraying them as with a degree of centrality that they actually lack in the real world.
And let's talk about legal issues. While Trump may have had an adoring crowd in Iowa, yesterday he also was the focus of a grand jury with former lawyer Michael Cohen testifying again to that grand jury. It appears we could be nearing an indictment of sorts. At what point does that make its way into the campaign, either as an attack from an opponent or an actual issue for voters?
It makes Trump stronger than ever with the Republican Party. It does not matter. The indictment will not matter. The president of the United States at the time was impeached twice. It does not matter. He has been proven to have been engaged in any number of illegal, immoral, unethical, and unpatriotic acts, and his base loves him more every time. It will not matter. He could run from jail and still retain probably 25% of the Republican base. This is not a man who is whose base is driven by the same set of moral imperatives and drivers that shape the rest of people's lives. If I was indicted, I'd hang my head in shame and disappear. Donald Trump will beat his chest and say, it's the deep state. They're trying to take me out. I'm going to fight for you. And the base will love it. And every other Republican candidate, including Ron DeSantis, will be asked the question, do you think Donald Trump was indicted correctly? Is this the right thing? And they will not be able to duck that question. And when they say, yeah, he was indicted correctly, the base will turn on them and destroy them.
So in a sense, he becomes a martyr, in your opinion.
Indeed, indeed.
Rick Wilson, co-founder of the Lincoln Project. Thanks for coming on and sharing your views, sir.
Thanks for having me.